What's up, good people? People. Oh man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I want to jump right into it just to get the subject matter going. So I had been trying to. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hey MJ. I've been trying to make sense of not whether or not I wanted to buy a gas generator, right? Because I don't think I want a gas generator, much like I don't want a gas lawnmower. Let me check my other window because the comments coming faster there. Nobody's complaining about the audio, so I must be fine. So I've been talking to Setite, and I was trying to figure out the math, and just it's not an apples to apples situation, but I never. Let me just say this: I never want a gas generator. That's not necessarily literally true, but I just don't want the hassle of it. It's the reason why I don't have a gas lawnmower. I had a corded lawnmower for the longest. My corded lawnmower stopped working, and I ended up getting an ego lawnmower, which they're not cheap. So that hurt a little bit. So I've been thinking about, man, what about like why would anybody want a gas generator who lives on grid? Off grid, those are different people. Those people need alternative sources of power. I get that 100%. What we got going on here? Banger. Oh man, I appreciate that, man. Just for the laughs and the coinage. Thank you. Make a quick announcement. I do want to upgrade my camera. So I think in the near future, whatever you guys give here or in PayPal or the Cash App, which happens to be right here. That's my Cash App. I'm gonna put all of that towards getting a new camera for the live stream and for filming content. I want my content to look a little better. I'm getting a little my hardware is aging. All right, anyway. So I've been thinking about this idea of a gas generator versus just buying more batteries. Specifically, how it started out was like a server rack battery, but those things are about $1,500. They have their valid points. They're a little more complex. But what I was thinking, like, man, is it better? This is the whole kind of synopsis. Is it better to have a gas generator with gas stored or have just like a extra 2 kilowatt battery? Y'all know I had the snowstorm video recently that I put out. There was a storm coming, so I was charging up all my devices. So it doesn't necessarily apply to that, but let's just say you had 2-3 kilowatt hours worth of power that is just stored up. Um, I like that idea more than I liked having a gas generator. And the reason why is because most of us already have solar. We already have power stations. We already have the ability to fill those things up. But some of us may find that we want an alternative source of power just in case the sun is not, beaming for a few days and you need power. Now, this is not stuff hit the fan situation. This is just your normal run of the mill, blackouts, brownouts, rolling blackouts, storm comes through and knocks your power out for a few hours. Not like a long-term sustainable situation. In a long-term situation where you have access to gas, I think you should have a gas generator on deck. I still don't know that I would have one. I don't know. I probably would get one. But anyway, so I was trying to make sense of the math, right? So if you think about it, you got lifetime, formerly ampere time or lead time, LITIME. I just did a video on their battery. I also have those Dr. Prepares. Those batteries typically cost, let's say they start at about $300, 370, 350, 400. They get more expensive. Some of them may even be a little cheaper if you could catch them on sale. So you can get 2 kilowatts for about $600. The going rate for a gas generator, as cheap as I've seen, if you kind of deal with the Harbor Freights, which I've never looked at, And I'm talking about those inverter gas generators, not those open frame, 3 kilowatt dips. Uh, so you spend $400, $500, and then you think about the one that's in the picture, the Honda. That dip is like 1199, and this roughly about, I think it maxes out at 2200 watts, or it just surges to 2200 watts. These are not important numbers, by the way, but it kind of sits at about 1800. I watched a video by David Paz. He had this video talking about using your generators to charge up your power station or your batteries. So here's where it gets interesting, right? He did a test, and I'm going to skip his first test, which was on a bigger, older generator. He went and he rented one of those Honda EU 2200i's from Home Depot. And what it did was, per gallon of gas, he had to do them in half gallons. Per gallon of gas in that generator, he produced about 4.3 kilowatts of power. Now, that's $1,100, but let's just call it something like eight, you know what I mean, for a generator or whatever you want to do with. $800 plus $4 a gallon. Some of us live in places that have higher gas. Some of us live in places that are at about $4. So what I kind of deduced is, let's say you spend about $600 on 2 kilowatts. You got to kind of cut that in half. That's 2 kilowatt hours of power is like 2.5, because they're 1280 watt hours. You combine it, you get about 24, 25 and some change. I think it's like 2560. So for if I intended to buy a generator to produce 4 kilowatts per gallon of gas, if I got those batteries, every time I charged up those batteries from the wall at about 16, 15 cents a kilowatt hour, I would be saving, because I have to cut it in half. I hope this makes sense, because I'm getting a 2 kilowatt battery array. His 1 gallon of gas could produce 4 kilowatts, right? 4.3. Every time I put power in there for the sake of having power during a power outage, I would be recouping $1 and about 70 cents. That's very interesting to me, because I hope we know that solar is one of the very few things, especially with LiFePo batteries and all those cycles, it gives you a return on your money spent. There is no return on a gas generator. It's a device with mechanical pieces that will eventually fail. You can say the same thing about a power station, but I'm not talking about a power station in this situation. Now, I like that math. You only get about 2,500 watt hours or 2.5 kilowatt hours, but I'm intrigued by that just as a reserve. And you know me, I'm going to use it either way. But when there's a storm coming, I grab my battery charger and I could throw in about 400 watts. Or you could just keep it and use it for emergencies only. It will be some kind of mixture for me, because, I like using my stuff. But if I bought something, if I spent 650, 660 with tax and all that jazz on those batteries, I kind of lean that way. I'm not saying I'm right. That math is that math, but it's something that I considered like very seriously, not from a spend money standpoint, like actually go out and buy it, but just from a, like, what would you do? You're in an apartment or you're living in a house, you have relatively stable access to power. All you have to do is keep your batteries charged, and you have 2.5 kilowatt hours of battery. Here's the problem, right? This is why it's for like short-term situations where the power will eventually be restored, because if the sun is not out, typically during a storm or something like that, clouds are overcast, you can't really get that power back. That's an interesting situation to be in. So at the end of the day, I mean, I guess you should entertain. I was talking to Jason Noyd about it as well. You should entertain alternative means of providing power to yourself. Absolutely. But I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of me being the kind of person that I am, and people possibly, having similar outlook situations. I don't know that I want a gas generator that every time I wanted to produce power, I need to actually have gas. You know, there's gas in your vehicles and stuff like that. You need to store gas. Gas expires, it goes bad, or should I say, um, JayCeeDIY made the point. I was watching his EcoFlow video. He talked about like how you want to get ethanol free gas in these smaller engines that have carburetors because it can kind of gunk up the device itself. Like I said earlier, the gas generator will fail after a certain time. The idea of a gas generator being cheap, which is something that people kind of pitch a lot, it's an easy point of entry compared to power stations. But I don't know that it's a more inexpensive point of entry compared to these LiPo batteries anymore. So that's just what I was thinking. I could kind of elaborate a little more, but that's what my head is at. What do you guys think about that? I have to scroll up a little bit to see what's going on with the comments. MJ says you don't want a gas joint either. Okay, I got a gas generator and solar panels. I mean, you have you have an RV and stuff like that, so I dig that. You need alternative modes of power, 100%. What kind of camera? That's a good question, Sharp Farmate. I'll get back to that in a second. I'm definitely gonna circle back to that. What's up, Nathan? I have a small Furman gas generator, 1300 watt peak, 1000 watt running watts. I use it to charge my batteries when longer power outages. Now, I imagine in that situation, that's a peace of mind kind of thing, where it's just like, okay, run that. Listen, there is appeal to a gas generator. I feel like, especially if you have power stations that charge quickly. Hey, Saya, is everybody upstairs still sleeping? Okay, Adele's still sleeping? Yeah. Okay, thanks, buddy. In a situation with the gas generators, if you have a power station that charges up fast, right? You know, you throw that thing on for like an hour, 90 minutes, you can full throttle your power station, and then you could go back to using that power. But this is where what I'm getting at. If you have 2.5 kilowatts of battery sitting around, and let's say like myself, I already have, it's actually just right here. I already have an inverter. I already purchased a battery charger. This is a 300 watt Bestech inverter. My battery charger charges at about 300 watts. So I have what's necessary to be able to use power from those batteries. I have what's necessary to be able to dump power from those batteries into power stations, albeit at 100 watts. I'll get to JayCeeDIY's point. He made a good point while I was talking to him. You can dump in about 100 watts, but I don't mind that slow 100 watt rate because your most important thing that people typically want to preserve is their food, right? You know, your fridge may use a little bit more than 100 watts, but most refrigerators, they spike really high and then they use about 100 watts. So if you got like a Delta AC200P, AC200 Max, or you got one of those fancy fly ones, EcoFlow joints that can actually take the surge of power from your fridge, then having those batteries be something that can produce power is fine. Now, listen, you can get to the point where, you know, you have the extra batteries and you buy a gas generator. The argument is not against a gas generator. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't know that I want one. Would I use it? Who knows? If I had a situation where I had to pare down my electricity usage, I would kind of rather the battery. I haven't gone through the process of thinking how long that 2.5 kilowatt battery would last me in terms of running my fridge and some incidentals like the internet, TV here and there. But again, this is based on a scenario where, hey, buddy, I need you to stop doing that, or go do it further in the living room. Go further away. Thank you. I think that's a good kind of emergency backup situation. Again, now Set Type made the point that typically, your, I guess, jerry can or whatever they call them, the gas cans holds about 5 gallons of gas. So if you go off of David Paz's numbers, you have 5 gallons of gas, good gallons of gas, then that's a good bit of power. 5 times 4 is 20. That's about 20 some odd kilowatts of power just in terms of spending that initial $600-800 and having gas on deck. But there's no recoup. I love the recoup, man. You don't get any of that money back ever. What's up, buddy? All right, let's see. Extra two. Yeah, MJ is on board. Propane is I think propane is more interesting. You don't get as much power with propane based on the videos that I watched. Video that I watched from Jason Ward. But the propane you can store longer. So that's a good look. I would think propane would be a better situation. So a dual fuel generator or a pure propane generator is interesting. But in a situation where you say, if you're out of power, if you are out of power, real rap for multiple days, 9 times out of 10, there ain't gonna be a whole lot of fuel around outside of what you have in your car. And I mean, you ever see people during an emergency? They be in them lines heavy. And those, anyway. So let's see what else we got here. The extra battery is exactly what I do. That's interesting. All right. What's up, Benjamin? Greetings from Tucson, Arizona. That's such a weird word I know how to read it, but Tucson? I've sworn off fossil fuel, been driving on a cheap a cheap EV for the last 7 years and recently purchased 2 EV3As with a couple of 100-watt panels with more on the way. Why would anybody buy 2 EV3As? I get it. They have the pass-through UPS situation. This is not the time. This is not the time. What's going on, buddy? Let's not make it a habit. What's happening?
So can I have a lemon pudding?
No, you just woke up. We don't get snacks when you just wake up. Can you put something on the TV quietly for you guys? It could be YouTube or it could be that movie you wanted to watch. I don't want to keep chatting, Saya. The math makes sense. Plus, the extra battery is great when you have a lot of sun and need to store. Right. I think it's dope. I worked hard on trying to figure this out. What's up, JC? Is it? You're not going. I'm just gonna say Jay. What's up, Jay? Says I saw that video on the generator, kilowatt per gallon of gas. That was a good test. It was. Hey, Gardening with E. Good to see you. Man, I ain't been live in a minute. I miss catching up with you guys. So I have a 3,500 watt open frame inverter generator, Westinghouse, and a Briggs 5,500 watt 220 volt generator. But I love my 1,800 watts of solar. I'm gonna get my wife a little solar generator so she can play too. That's what's up. I like that EcoFlow River Max too. The fan is loud, but I think it's one of the better power stations in that price point. I have been looking at Pecron and who else? Somebody else. I was trying to kind of get familiar with these devices. I can't remember. It's actually on my work computer, interestingly enough. Don't have to run the gas station when the power is out. I dig that. Don't stress about the kids. We all have them do what you do. But yeah, it's practice though for them. I don't mind it, but they get real talkative when daddy is engaging, whether it be on a phone call. So it's parenting on purpose. Let me see. My mouse gonna stop working. Okay, it's back. In terms of the camera, Sharfar made. I don't know. That's the problem with my situation. I have never bought a camera because I haven't been really impressed with the camera offerings. I actually sent Wayne and Setite this video of this guy, Camera Conspiracies. He was giving Sony a hard time because these companies literally just will not make what people want. They just won't. And I'm not gonna give you $700-800 for a camera that let me paint a picture for you guys. I'm a 80s baby. So there was this a video game reference. There was a franchise called 2K that was really popular. It was kind of born out of the Sega Dreamcast. And 2K, you guys know 2K basketball for sure by now. You should see the commercials. But 2K used to have a football game, and 2K's football game was eating Madden's lunch. Madden had got lazy. They had started putting out the same game over and over again. I mean, over, and it wasn't even that great to the point where they Madden, which is why I would never buy another Madden game. They bought the license, the exclusive rights to be the NFL's video game because 2K was kicking their butt. But Madden only iterates. It's been the same game for like the last 20 years. It stopped being different after like 98. So I stopped buying it, man. So I'm not gonna spend my money when your your version 3 only has one or two features better than the version 1. It's like, what are we doing here? Nikon had a new camera they put out that showed some promise. Um, but that's it. It's kind of checked most of the boxes, but it's like $800. And it's just like that's a lot of coin, man. It's a lot of coin. But I want to get something. I feel like um, I like the kind of content that I make. I feel like I feel a certain void in this solar um, niche of like real life with solar. And like using my stuff and all of that jazz, and it kind of like a fun, not a review only, not a tear down situation, not a purely product focus. It's about like real life lifestyle with solar, and I want the quality of the videos to be a little bit better than they are right now. Um, so to answer that question, that's kind of where I'm going. I still need to figure something out, and then I have to research it heavily because I have to make sure that I can't accommodate myself in the used market, which is where I could get something for like maybe like 450, 500. I'm a wheeler and a dealer guy, so uh, it's the same thing with these power stations. What's a good example? That Rockpals right there. A Rockpals power station for like $150 from the marketplace is a good look. But at $399, $299, when you have the EB3A and the EcoFlow River base model, which looks really cheap, by the way. I was looking at that thing. I was like, man, it feels naked to me. So everything, for me, everything is in context to the other. Everything is I look at everything within context to everything else. I try my best anyway. So you can slow walk these products, but if I could get a slow walk product for like $300-400 off, close to half off or something like that, then it's interesting to me. I can kind of take that L, but I'm not gonna walk out of the door with a new camera that sucks and doesn't have the stuff that I'm looking at. What's a Valve the Silver Surfer? Let's see. Did I catch this one? Yeah, your fan is loud. I watch Jay's shorts. Hey, calm down. Y'all are too loud. Everybody pick a video, 10 to 15 minutes, and then go to the next person. This is really easy. Okay. You just purchased a Pecron 1200 and you love it. That's the Pecrons, because they started putting LFP in their power stations. They do have a couple out there that don't have LFP in them. Um, it's interesting. I don't like their solar connector, but I live in terms of I like how can I explain it? For to give an example, downstairs I have my four-way solar cable MC4. I'm sorry, XT60 8 millimeter 5521 and Anderson. So the DuranEner, which is what I affectionately call the Duran, and my EB120 share that solar array, which is my 400-watt array. I have four 100-watt panels, two Renergies that are newer, two Renergies that are older. I like that sort of like where I can use various things on the same situation. So with Pecron having a very specialized plug like that aviator plug, it rubbed me wrong early on. But I'm still looking at the devices to get familiar with them because they're starting to do some really good things with prices and LFP. And I just think that that's dope. They've been off my radar for a while, so I'm trying to put them back on my radar. Thank you for turning it down, son. All right. How many have built their own? I don't know. I still play the last 2K with what's up, man? Greetings, Val. Greetings, sleeper. All been there with the for the Blue Eddy. Hi there. All been here for the Blue Eddy batteries. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Hey, Auntie Blessings. It says don't stress the camera. I something your content camera is fine. YouTubers go off at the top. Please don't get a drone. I never got the appeal of drone footage. I get it for some situations. Um, I tell my wife all the time I don't necessarily like I don't particularly like that walking angle that a lot of YouTubers do, where the camera's behind them and they got to go back and get the camera. If I use a drone for anything, that's what I would use a drone for. I'm not into this stuff. You do it because visually it's appealing, but I don't overdo it. You know what I mean? I don't do that a lot on these videos. That was I'm not clasping my hands together. Uh, it's an interesting thing. I don't need a drone. I don't even live in the kind of neighborhood that's drone friendly, or not that people have beef, but it's just, like Setai having a drone makes sense. He bought like a new piece of property, and his property is huge, and drone footage is going to be okay for him, but not me. Casey Neistat, considered to be like one of the goats of the vlogging space. He was like, nobody gives up about your drone footage. Unless it has context. It has to be a part of your story, But I don't mean to go down a rabbit hole about drone footage. But to this idea of like stressing about the camera, I want my quality to be a little bit better. Like I currently use an action camera. I have the DJI, what is it called? The Osmo Action, the first one. I've been looking at the Osmo Action 3. They have some issues with focusing and sharpening, but they seem like they've addressed it. It's like a $300 camera, 329, 370. That's who makes my microphone that I have. I had the first Osmo Action. The Osmo 2 is weird, but this Osmo 3 is a return back to this form factor. Where is it at? Right here. This is what I use to record a lot of my videos. I think Prepping on the Creek uses this to record some of his videos as well. The focus is a little soft. I was watching my Gulu video. It's actually right here. This tip right here. I was watching this video. I try to keep this charged up for my wife, but she does not use it as much anymore. And I was really impressed with that video. It was a little long-winded, but I don't know if you guys know who Marquez Brownlee is. I got like real MKBHD vibes from that video in terms of like, he's not super technically focused. He talks about the specs, but he walks this line of like real life and giving his opinion. And most people in the tech space have come to value not his opinion definitively, but just giving you like a broad overview and things to be mindful of. And I was like, you know what? I kind of feel like I did a good job with that. But his quality is it's yeah, it's great. But that was always a point of his. He wanted to make his videos be as nice as possible. I also need some lights for YouTube to increase my ability to record. I find myself really being hampered by sitting in my window. I want to try and find a space that I could sit in and just kind of do videos. That really inhibits my ability to create videos. Um, but I do think my style of video is very casual, so I get it. But I just want to step it up a little bit. I don't plan on going crazy. I don't need like a Sony A7S Mark III or anything like that. But I do want something a little bit better. See, regenerative Wayne. It's always hard to. What's up, Wayne? Good to see you, sir. Always good to see you. Backups are always, both backups are good to have. I dig that. Hey, I can. What's happening? Okay, what did I miss? Of all times, both of my children decided to FaceTime me. I answered your question about the camera, I think, and I talked about the camera a little bit more. Don't sweat having your children trying to steal a scene. No, I don't sweat it. It's just training. I need to have them understand. Hey, Doc, God, it's been a while. I have a flex fuel and a couple of small solar generators. Okay, nice. Flex fuel, I'm assuming, means it can do both. You're focusing on more DIY builds now, learning or getting better. And I want as much for my buck with battery storage for future off-grid property. Yeah, I get it. I get it. 100%. And that stuff is really easy. I love the all-in-ones with the server rack batteries. That's the way that I would go, because I don't have to worry about breakers and stuff like that. I'm not ready to start learning about breakers and fuses, and I don't. I don't. I have done both now. 300 amp hours. Oh, I got to circle back to something. Of gel, two MPT controllers, 1,000 watt array, 2K inverter, breaker, shunt, fuse. Love it, but I love my Delta. It's all asphalt. My flex fuel is gas and propane. All right. This idea of the batteries versus the gas generators. Jason Noy made the point that uh, he talked about getting like higher voltage batteries, and he's really like anti the idea of 12-volt batteries powering power stations. But I feel like a lot of us, enough of us, have like normal power stations that can't even take series panels. You know, we have Energizer P320s, we have the OG EcoFlows, we have the EB70, we have, you know, these power stations that can't take the higher voltage. But his point was to get a higher voltage battery, and I looked at those two; they're about the same price. So you could get a 24-volt 200 ampere time or lifetime, or who's the other people, Power Queen I think makes one. um, and what that would do is that would give you the ability to it gives you the ability to be able to charge or dump into your power stations faster, because it's 24 volts at whatever amps they can take in instead of 12 volts. So instead of being limited to about 120 watts, you will go up to 240 watts, which is a good look. I agree. The only downside is, once you get into 24-volt, I guess it may not be a downside. The thing that you should know is that you would have to, if you wanted to do an inverter, you have to now get a 24-volt inverter. If you wanted to do a battery charger, you probably have to get a 24-volt or a 12 24-volt battery charger. I had 12-volt chargers. He made that point. He was like, a lot of stuff is 12/24-volt compatible. I don't happen to have that stuff, but I did look into some of those more interesting chargers. They don't necessarily look all that polished to me, but they'll be the ones that can charge like AGMs and lead acid batteries, and also lithium ion slash LiPo batteries. And they'll do a 12/24 kind of thing. So you got some flexibility there. So it's a valid point. He talked about 48-volt. Um, I'm not into 48 volt, but he did mention the idea that if you get 48 volt, that's kind of future proofing yourself, because if you wanted to go the way that regenerative life Wayne wants to go, which is he's DIYing and learning about that now, or somebody said they wanted to go that way as well, he's doing it, then you more so have a system that you can properly scale 48 volt stuff with, which is it's better because the higher you get in the voltage, the less you have to push around in amps. The less you have to push around in amps is the smaller cable you can use, which means your system won't cost as much. But JayCeeDIY has cautioned me directly and in his videos that he puts out to you guys. Once you get up to 48 volts, it's real. You know what I mean? You could electrocute yourself. You could shock yourself. And he's like, it's not a good look. So be very careful. Hey, Darlene. Yeah, hit the like button. Oh man, come on, Bluetooth. Stop playing with me. Credge. I have the Ryobi 40 volt 300 watt inverter and the USB top and catch. My wife wait, and the USB top. And I catch my wife using them all the time. That's why I'm gonna get her a small solar generator. So you have a 40 volt 300 watt inverter from Ryobi. Sensei loves Ryobi, I believe. Yeah, that's the one he likes. He loves them because you always get batteries and stuff like that. Hey, D, that name does not look familiar. Did you change your name or you just haven't been here in a while? 39 watching and 23 likes. I don't want to say only 23 likes. That's a good ratio. I ain't mad at that. The ETC Lifestyle, thanks for gifting me the Agua in February and starting me off on my solar journey. But I want more. Very much addicted and it's your fault. Listen, I make no apologies for that. I'm giving away one on this one. So actually, let's talk about that real quick. Before that, I do want to, you saying getting hooked. I want to give one in a panel to my cousins to get them hooked, be their gateway drug. But I don't have a good one to give them. I want to give them one kind of in the lines of the EcoFlow River, where it's like, it has app control, has Wi-Fi connectivity. The screen is not limited in any way. I have a lot of power stations to be able to give them one, but I want to give them a nicer one versus just anything that they will probably put in a closet. Because I feel like if you're gonna put it in a closet, I could keep it. But I do want to give away a power station, or at least I want to get in the process of giving away a power station. I am a procrastinator, so it may take me a while to get it to you. So I was gonna pick which one, but I feel like what I'll do is I'll let you guys pick which one you want. Come on in there, get in there, get in there. So we have the Rockpals 300 watt hour. Guys, take it easy. I don't mind y'all talking, but y'all getting louder and louder. Um, a couple caveats. Let's talk about this quickly. I can only ship it to the 48 connected states or contiguous states. I do have to ask you to pay for shipping. It'll typically be around 20 to 25 bucks to ship it. Um, I've shipped quite a few power stations and it hurt my pockets. The GoLabs, this particular one, I have two of them. This is my first one. It did get rained on in the spirit of transparency. It works, but what has happened to it, I don't know if this has anything to do with the rain, but because it got rained on many, many times ago. The DC, this joint, let me see if I can get that right. I can't turn this one on anymore. It just errors out. And this is ultimately why I'm letting you guys pick. The AC works fine. The USB ports work fine. It should charge just fine from here. I never tested it, but I'm sure it does. Do I have I do, but it's outside. Huh. I'm gonna try that. Let me just try it now. I'm gonna try it now. So what I'm doing is I don't have a 8mm to 8mm. So I have this little cable. This particular one is one that does video. So what I'm putting on here is a USB-C to 5521 adapter. I love this little thing. I also have cables that do that. And I'm going to plug it into here. And then I'm going to plug it into my little power station right here just to make sure that it can charge. I'm sure it can. Actually, I don't even need to use this cable. I can just use my cable that's down here. Make sure that one's not busted. I don't think it is. Yeah, it just charges right up. It's the 5521 output ports that don't turn on anymore. So you can pick that one. That one is LiFePo. It has a normal amount of cycles. The other one, the Rockpals, is not LiFePo. It's lithium ion, but it's lighter. So I like this little device. This device has served me well. It can take in, it's a 5521 port here. No issues. I mean, you got to watch the review on this one because it has drawbacks, but it can take in 72 watts from the 5521. The GoLabs can only take in 60 from solar. This can take in 72 from solar. This thing has been clutched just because of that. You pair it up with a 100-watt panel, it's a good look. I feel like I'm wasting kind of power throwing a 100-watt panel on a 60-watt limited input power station. But this one has been cool for that reason. Yeah, watch the video. I'll figure out what the parameters are going to be. And then you just let me know which one you would like to have. And when I pick the comment, what I would like to see is someone who is either subscribed to the channel or who has at least commented on a video in the past. So if you are watching this live stream after and you weren't here, that's fine. I just want to give these power stations to people actually in the community. I don't want some random person coming and winning a power station. So if you do get picked, I may ask you, can you let me know a video that you commented on? And we'll go about it that route. If I recognize the name, then you good money. But if I don't, then I may ask you that. Just to make sure it goes to somebody in the community. There's nothing else to know about that. I'll probably pick the comment in about a week. It may take me a bit to mail it off. I suck in that regard. I still have to mail off Grand Acres joint. I've been sick like twice as it relates to that. That's a whole nother story. But she won the Alcatel P501. So somebody's going to get to pick the Rockpals or the GoLabs R300. Let me see what y'all snapping and trapping about. Who did I say that does DIY? Regenerative Life Wayne. He's actually in the chat. And Setite is going to have some content. I hope he makes content surrounding it, but he's like purchased some stuff for his solar system. If you don't know, it's Setite's Tech Adventures at the moment. Setite. I don't think he's around here yet, but he'll be around here in the comments at some point. He commented on my last video, which was the video about the snowstorm. So if you want to find him, he is easy to find. I'll probably throw his channel in the description after the video. So he's going to be doing some DIY stuff. He bought like all-in-one type of things and some panels. Excuse me. Jay also has a channel, and he's done some DIY stuff personally, so he could be a resource. I changed my name, and it's been a while. Nice. Well, good to see you again, D-Lo Garden. Let's see. The Agwe. Yeah, the Agwe was nice. I like that Agwe. It just didn't serve me well. It's another one that gets a good charge from its 5521 port. Somebody gave me some coins. Oh, man, thank you. Who's that? The mail cost. Oh, okay, nice. Bangers and Bullets. Bangers and Bullets. That's a channel for my man Stacks. He has a silver channel. He's with them actions. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. But check his channel out, man. I've watched a couple of his videos. I feel like you need to tighten that editing up a little bit, but it flows pretty good. But he's just enjoying himself out there with them, you know what I mean, with his son, and they going getting it popping. Let's see. 24 volt for DIY is great if you're going to build something that will primarily run an inverter. If you're building something to run small DC devices, 12 volt is fine. That's a good point. Okay, we got that one. I love what's happening. I like the generators that run off of your home's natural gas line. That's interesting. Setai was talking about that. I wouldn't mess with that. That's way above my pay grade. But he mentioned it. He was saying that. I think he was saying like companies don't really like that. But yeah, that is interesting. I don't really want a motor running, to be honest. I'm not into it. I'm not good with that kind of stuff. If it breaks, I don't. What would I do? Look up a YouTube video and then I'm out at that point. But my neighbors are savvy, especially the next door neighbor with these stupid dogs. Um, he's really savvy in that stuff. I think he actually has an inverter, a generator, like a big one though. Because I thought about in the past just going half on something when it was like getting real interesting, like around the pandemic and all that jazz. I didn't want a generator myself, but I did want to have access to one. So I thought about going half with one um, with him, but he actually has one. They've had it for a long time, so who knows if it works or not. I'm not into it. Let's see. I have a 48 volt grow watt inverter, and I like the trophy batteries better than the EG4 by Signature Solar, but I did purchase the grow watt from them. I use trophy for my DIY build. Nice. I just got a 50 watt Renogy. I need to actually try and use it with my 230 watt hour portable battery. I just got a 50 watt Renogy. Interesting. Nice. I still use my 50 watt Renogy. I actually just grabbed it because it was charging my GoLabs i200. I grabbed it and bought it in because it was out there today. I use pretty much all my panels. There's a couple companies that want to send me a couple more 100 watt panels. One of them looks really cool. It's by this company called Orico, Orico. It's interesting. They wanted to send me like a typical looking one, but this one kind of looks like that Bouge RV one. I don't know if you guys saw, this was many moons ago, but they had this like bifold and then they had a quad fold that was more vertical. It was like taller and you kind of opened it out like that. They have an interesting one that's kind of like gray and blue and it looks really nice. So I was like, I'll take that one. I don't know if I want, I shouldn't say I don't know if I want, but comparatively, I was more interested in that because it was compact and it looked a little more narrower. And I thought that was intriguing versus like the typical like fold out joints that I have all around here. I have like 9 Renogy 100 panels and I love them. Great panels. I wish there was an opportunity for me to get maybe like 2 of those those new EcoFlow panels. And I had just been so done with 100 watt panels that I passed on that opportunity. And then I went and I bought these 2 Renogy joints that I didn't notice that they were bigger than my panels. I got a video coming out about that soon, maybe sometime next week after I do the Duran video. But I spent $100 on those 2 panels and they were used and bigger. And I could have got the EcoFlow panels that are new, smaller, and black. What are you going to do? I want to talk about panels soon, though, in a second. Anything Renogy makes a great product. Yeah, Renogy panels are fine. Oh, hey, Caddy. I have a full DIY system video as well. Nice. There you go. Okay. In context, I don't get that I can, but CashApp. Hey, let me. You know what I mean? Where's it at? Right there. That's your boy's CashApp. So, I have gotten into. I'm kind of. What they say? Antsy to get bigger panels, but in my market, we don't have a whole lot of big panels sell here very often. So I'm trying to figure out how to get bigger panels. I am because having panels in series, I do what I got to do to get the power. Today was a good day with the AC 200p. I had to throw my battery and battery charger on it to kind of like dump because it was going to be full in a couple hours. It was still early in the day, but I want some bigger panels to get me back to a space where I could have like. So right now, what I want to do, and I may have put this video on Patreon, or maybe I sent it directly to like Wayne or something like that, but I recorded something. Right now, I have some 100-watt panels. I have 4 100-watt panels, the Renogy joints that go into the EB120 and the DuranEner. Then I have a 100-watt X-Star panel on my upper balcony that won't be able to stay there, but it is there. I have the Renogy Eclipse 100-watt panel. I have the EcoFlow 100-watt folding panel and the Renogy Eclipse in parallel. If you guys have seen the shorts around here, I showed that. I also have a 100-watt HUST in parallel with my 200-watt Rich Solar. I have a video coming about that soon as well. So what I would like to do is in a situation, I got that Renogy 320. That's cool. I want to be able to take all 4 of those 190/180s that I have that are on the AC 200p now and maybe replace them with like 2 400s. Because if I could have 2 400-watt panels, then I could take and claim all of those 200s and kind of disperse them around where, my EB3A has 1 200-watt panel on it instead of the Renogy and the EcoFlow folding in parallel. And then maybe I could have 2 200 watts on my porch for the Alcatel, which has a 300-watt array on it right now. And so that's 2 of those panels used. And then I want to take the other 2 panels and then put them on the EB120 and DuranEner, and thus taking those 4 100-watt Renogy panels and kind of taking them out of the picture completely. Or, throwing a 100-watt. I don't know. But, I don't like having all of these panels in series parallel and all that jazz. I'm not a big fan of it. I do what I got to do. I've been consolidating panels like crazy because last summer I had all of these panels kind of like 1-to-1. Like one of my flexible panels, which is now in parallel as well with the other flexible panel going into my bull bat. I had like one of those going into the Sateki. One was going into whatever was by my door, but now both of those are in parallel and they're going into the power station that's by my door. It's just an interesting thing. So if I could get some bigger panels, that would allow me to free up those other 200-watt panels, and then it would kind of pull these 100-watt rigid panels, and then maybe they could kind of disperse and replace some of these folding panels that I have. You never know, right? Because folding panels are annoying. They're cool in the sense that all power's 200-watt panel. I feel like for the most part, I will always use that one. But the Bluetti SP200 was kind of going to replace that one and push that one more to a like optional thing because it'd be outside all the time, to be honest with you. But the SP200 wasn't really all that waterproof. It was like splash proof or something like that. But anyway, let me see what y'all talking about. Yeah, JayCeeDIY made a red cart system like I did. Yeah, definitely. I remember that video. That video kind of, when I saw that video, you made that video, I was like, man, that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Like that's easy, especially with an all-in-one. You had like the controller and all that jazz, but that was really straightforward. Let's see. Series is nice for distance. True. Oh, on February 1st, my electric company turned on these solar panels. Nice. On your roof. They're grid tied from my understanding. They are. And they turned them off at night because of course. Oh, really? Why? What do you mean you sure they turned them off? That's interesting. Why would they need to do that? That's interesting. I'm glad it's up and coming. Hi, I enjoy your channel. I'm AKA. Oh, nice. Katie's Camp Kitchen. Thank you so much for stopping by. That's what's up. We were on a live stream with JayCeeDIY a minute ago. I was meaning to check out your channel. I'm definitely gonna do it for sure, but I've been meaning to look at it. JayCeeDIY featured Katie's Camp Kitchen in his video where he talked about a couple of his viewers' setups. He talked about my setup in that video as well. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Since it's winter and cold out, I wonder if during the day I can top off all my power stations via AC. Sure, you should be able to do that instead of solar to use them at night instead of AC. Will this hurt my power stations? No. I mean, you want to cycle your LiPo ones primarily because they have the cycles in them, but it won't hurt them. Nah, I feel like what you should do or not, but what I would do if I had panels on my house, I would try to make sure, unless your power company gave you a 1-for-1 in net metering, $1 for $1 spent, or however they do it, uh, I would try to make sure all my power stayed with me instead of them. But if they have a 1-to-1, a $1 for $1 net metering, then it kind of really doesn't matter if you get it into your power stations or not, because those credits are given back to you at the same value of the power you sent back to them. Which I've talked about this many times before. That stuff was too good to be true, and it just didn't make sense. I know the government, I imagine the government was involved in some way, and here go the government just messing stuff up. Um, just in terms of like subsidies and things like that. Like, I get it, but there's no way a business should give you, there's no way a business should give you stuff, your energy back, buy your energy from you at a price that they don't even buy it from their wholesalers. That just doesn't make any sense. You should not be able to produce, you know, 15, 16 cents per kilowatt and get that actually back. That just doesn't make sense. I don't, I know people may not agree with that, but that can't work. And we see what's happening is they're swinging completely in the opposite direction, because that's what we do here. We do something one way, and then instead of fixing it, we swing all the way another way. So now they don't want to give people much of anything for their power back. But I don't know. That's my take. Uh, duh, 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 duh. That's what the government's best at. Setites, Tech Adventures. He's like a DIY kind of guy. He'd be opening up power stations, want to add XT60 directly to the batteries. Man, he's into all kinds of interesting stuff. So check his channel out for sure. I buy aftermarket certified panels from Santan Solar. Awesome company, huge used discounted panels. I kind of am. I'm arriving there. I'm trying to see if some other stuff will work out for me in a moment. Setai also mentioned kind of trying to put together a group buy among some buyers, maybe within driving distance of my area. That's something that I've thought about, but yeah, I need to get some bigger panels. I really do. Supposedly they give me credits for extra power that I don't use. Yeah, I mean, in this situation, without knowing the specifics of your situation, you can't really lose. All you can do is really be intentional about maximizing your situation. So even if they don't give you much for your power back in credits, you got your power stations. You should absolutely make sure you're trying to keep your power stations topped off. And then that's a situation where if you produce enough power, you don't have to worry about deploying panels and stuff like that. That's ideal. In my situation, what I would love to have happen is to get my transfer switch and to have a big enough power station or a big enough system. I don't know if I'm going to play around with a big enough system, like an all-in-one, kind of server rack situation. I want to have a situation where I can have these outlets on a transfer switch and just take my power stations and plug them into the wall and have most of my panels powering some big AC300 type of system. That would be ideal. Now, I still will have power stations be deployed and stuff like that because that's just my nature. And plus, I have a YouTube channel. So I can't just kind of like rest on, having panels in the backyard, a nice array, and then never really mess around with stuff. I'm always going to be greedy. If there's power stations that need power in them and I can't fill them up, I'm just trying to fill them up. So this is what it is. But in your situation, yeah, all you got to do is just make sure you get the best out of your system. You don't want to ever, because those agreements can change, those credits can change. And then you have a situation where you're producing this power, you know, you're not home or you don't use a whole lot of power. You got those power stations. You spent that money, get that power into them because that's a part of your recoup, in my opinion. I would say, in my informed opinion. Uh, 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 um, let's see. To be fair, it doesn't cost them that much to produce it, but that is what they're selling it to your neighbors for. Hmm. Well, I guess I don't understand because I mean they get it at a certain like 3 cents a kilowatt. They sell it to your neighbors for 15, 16 cents. I don't know that a company should be giving you 15, 16 cents per kilowatt credit. I don't see that as making sense. It's great. It's great that they did that for however long they did it, but it couldn't last forever. Here it's 11 cents a kilowatt from the power company and 2.5 cents sent back. We are credited. It kind of sucks. It does suck, but probably about how much they pay for power for real. So it's like you're another one of their producers. And then here's the interesting thing about that. This whole solar stuff was kind of meant they pushed for us to get it, much like they're pushing for in California people to get electric cars, just creating a bottleneck. I don't know what's wrong with these people. They're pushing they push for people to have solar panels. And then like every smart person understood that yeah, you're producing all of this power when people aren't home. And then you're giving these people one for one credits, and it's just like this don't make no sense. You're not helping me. My my plants and my peaker plants and all of that jazz. I don't need the power during the day. I need the power at 5 o'clock when all you weirdos come home and you're turning on all the stuff in your house. Then I got nothing. So why am I paying you cost or what is it? Why am I paying you retail? Whatever the word is for your energy. Your energy is not that valuable to me. Until electric companies figure out a way where they can store it at inexpensively, then solar power during the day when nobody's home is almost worthless. It just is. Um, I will never do a grid tie for my residential home. If the grid goes down, it's useless. Plus, it would void my insurance on my roof. That's interesting. Yeah, it is useless. I mean, you have to get batteries for sure. Let's see. When you send a kilowatt hour to the grid, it goes backwards on your meter, then forward on your neighbor's meter. So your neighbor is charged retail price for the kilowatt hour you produced. So yeah, so what you're getting at is it a break even for the company because that power doesn't, that power just flows from you to your neighbor. So the company, that's an interesting point. The company doesn't really lose per se. Um, they almost save in a way because they don't have to send their 3 cents or their 1 point or their 2.5 cents kilowatt energy to. So that's a fair point. That's enlightening because then the transmission of that power, it doesn't have to come from whatever all out in the wherever the power is generated from. That power is so it does. I can see that. That's a valid point. And this is what's interesting, man. People don't really have conversations like this, much like we do here. We have conversations very much on the surface. There is no nuance. There is no understanding. People don't know what they're talking about. They just have their feelings. It's like, oh, they took away my one-to-one credit. Oh, they suck. It's awful. It's like, yeah, okay. That's a good point. There's no transmission cost involved, and you get to charge your neighbor. They get to charge your neighbor retail as well for your power that didn't cost them as much as it cost them to produce. Why don't you get up and get some water, son? Try and relax. Hey, hey, hey. Try and relax.
Okay.
You got to try and calm down, or you're just gonna keep coughing. Get you some water. Good job. Remember, take your deep breaths, man. You got to breathe. Okay, we talked about that. Remember, keep breathing, okay?
Okay.
2.5 cents is what our local power company pays for solar from TVA. So that's what we make when we send power back to the grid. It's called wholesale price. Yeah, wholesale versus retail. I got you. Thanks for that clarity. But it was indeed a temporary thing to encourage solar, and now they are trying to encourage batteries. So they've gotten rid of the one-to-one. That stuff is hilarious. I have exactly what I'm trying to do to harness all the power from that I can, all the power that I can during the day when they have that solar running, and then use the power stations only at night. So to not use theirs 100%. Grid tie with battery is better for sure. Only thing is the batteries are expensive. They're getting cheaper now, for sure. So, but the back then during the conversation, the batteries were really expensive. They claim that it stresses the grid and requires maintenance, but I think that's crap. Yeah, it probably is. They'll claim anything, man. Free maintenance. I don't have to do anything. Interesting. I would rather keep the power I generate and use any extra to lower the amount of spend on my. Yeah, that's smart. You should never put a system on your house counting on selling power back to anybody. That's crazy. Me being like community minded, I will almost rather sell it directly to my neighbors at a discounted price. It's like, okay, come charge your Tesla at like 8 cents, 10 cents. Because if they go charge it at a whatever, they're gonna pay like 50. You know, it's just like I've been doing some interesting watch stuff as it relates to EVs. This chick, what's her name? She has a masculine name, Darbin. Darbin Orvar. She has a playlist where she bought a used Nissan Leaf. And I thought that playlist was great, because she talked very practically about why she wanted to get an EV and the cost variance between an EV and gas. Used prices are really in our favor in all situations. If you could get something of quality, I mean, it just is what it is. Buying a used car is better than buying a new car. It just is what it is. Um, but this idea of batteries, I was talking with Set Tight, it's just like batteries almost always make sense, no matter how costly they are, because every time you use that battery, you're saving money compared to what you would have done in gas. So having an electric vehicle, every time you drive that vehicle, it's like you're saving money. That money's kind of coming back to you. And there's not a whole lot of maintenance involved with these batteries in these cars. Um, it's a very interesting thing. It's a very interesting thing, especially with the prices coming down. The same thing about solar panels. Even if you buy new solar panels $1 a watt, you still gonna make money from them. You'll slowly. It takes about 7 years, 4 or 5 years. But imagine if you get those dips used, then your recoup period is less. And those solar panels are made to last for a long time. So there's literally no downside to buying solar panels. I think at a certain point, you should start thinking about buying bigger solar panels, cheaper, because they are cheaper than the retail solar panels, especially if you could get them in your market because you don't have to deal with shipping. I think it was Set that I was talking to, just talked about, that's the reason why these retail panels are basically $1 per watt, is because the shipping cost is kind of built in. So yeah, there's no downside to buying solar panels ever, ever. Rigid solar panels. Now those folding joints, I don't know about that. That's a portability thing, and you pay for that. Let's see here. um, okay, look at Jay. I'm learning stuff about Jay. I've had Tesla Solar and two power walls ordered for 2 years now, so I've started my own solar journey. That's interesting. What's going on there? Is it just not coming to fruition? I know that this stuff is really back ordered. When I ordered my panels from them, I tested them myself. I bought 230 watt panels from Santan Solar, and the output was 230 watts on the panels I ordered. I ordered 8 of these. I gotta see if my daughter's awake. Un momento, por favor. And Grand Acre said she couldn't get on the train. Oh, somebody sent me some coins. Thanks, you guys. Dion, I'm sorry, my bad. I know Cash App is so yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, let's check this. Let's see here. Okay, she's still sleeping. Here's my struggle with these panels. My struggle. My struggle ain't your struggle. Not you, Wayne, but you guys in general. Because my space is very limited, I need to have more efficient panels. I could I don't want to say easily, but more easily buy like a 10 pack of 250 watt panels from like Santan Solar or something like that. But there's gonna be so big. Those panels are gonna be pretty much the same size as my 320 watt Renogy is. I already have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 200 watt panels already. Why am I going to get a panel that's the size of my 320 for just 50 extra watts? I'm not going to do it. So I need those 400s. I need those 450s. I don't think I can do 550 from Renogy. That's too big. But I need like 385, 395s. I need 400. I need those size panels. For the longest time, there was some 300 watt panels in my area that some people were selling for about 225, 200. I don't think I would have paid that, but I was willing to pay it. In the grand scheme of things, I paid $200 for 200 watts. So, like, if I could get 300 for 200, But they were so freaking huge, and it wasn't that much of a bump. It was like I went from 2 to 3, 190 to 3, 200 to 3. I would have got like an extra maybe 50 watts out of it. It's like I didn't see the appeal in that. I need like those EcoFlow 400s, or I need those Renogy 450s, and those dips are $1 a watt, which I've done before, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to see if I could get some love on something. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not necessarily on those companies' radars, that's for sure, but I need some 400 watt. I need bigger, more efficient panels. And I'm patient. I'm waiting. But I'm getting antsy, man. I tell you, I'm getting antsy. I really want to be able to start shifting some of these panels around and not having these series dips, especially for the summertime. That's going to be interesting. Well, I shouldn't say especially for the summertime. Summertime, actually, my panels don't really need to move all that much. When I first got my panels, I would move them a lot because I was thirsty. That power was just, I needed to get that power because I had like 100 watt panel here and there, and then I started getting the 200s. And after I started getting like various arrays, I started to just chill. And it's like all last year, all last summer, my 200 watt panels, they were pretty much flat deployed the whole summer. I never moved them, not once. That one would sit on my banister all day. And before I had the AC200P, I had the Alcatel and whatever. And those joints would sit on my little yard and my driveway retaining walls. They would just lay there on that grass, kill that grass underneath, death to my grass, 100%. They would just sit there and I didn't move them. I didn't move them at all. But I want some bigger panels. I really do. I've been thinking about not seriously, but I've just been kind of mulling over the idea of like how much money would I be willing to spend to get like I guess what, a 10 pallet. I don't know. I haven't finished that research, but a pallet of some panels just to be able to have them. I don't see that. That's not realistic to me, but I've been thinking about it because I've been kind of wanting to get those panels on deck. What up? What up? What up, LA? I purchased a used Honda and it's been a great addition. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. You get you a used generator. That's my hustle. If I could get like again, I still don't want gas, but just hear me out. If I could get like one of those winds, what are they, winds or whatever, that are similar to the Honda, they probably cost about like 400. Every now and then I'll see a champion generator, but I don't know if I trust them. Um, they also looked weird back then. But if I could get one of those winds, have it on deck, that would be interesting. The thing that I can't get over, man, is like gas is so expensive. The cost per kilowatt is just that's where I arrived at this whole conversation. It's like, what? Like you gotta spend $4. So I guess it's $1 per kilowatt. So if with the Honda EU dip, he got 4.3 on the gallon of gas. Yeah, it's $1 per kilowatt. Like that don't make sense to me. That just do not make sense. That's an emergency situation for real. I'd much rather have a battery that I could dump 4 kilowatts in. I was looking at, a 12 volt, 300 amp hour, whatever. And I'm reminded of Ben Everything because he loves that 300 amp hour dip that he got. And I can't blame him. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a lot of power. All right. I think Satya was talking about 400 amp hour, but I don't think I've ever seen a 400 amp hour battery. Um, let's see. But use is the way to go. That's for sure. Last month, without the solar on the roof, my electric bill was only $9. Without the solar on the roof, trust me, I know how to be frugal with my utilities. What? That is bananas. I wonder why them people targeted you. Did they look at your bill? That's probably like, yeah, we just need to get this up here so we could kind of give it to the neighbors and profit. $10. You're my hero, Sharon. You're my hero. That's wow. That's crazy. Tesla solar normal panels, or they're okay. That's not for me. They don't serve our area yet. I got you. 2 years later, yeah, that's how it be. Young Elon. Hey, Miss Beverly. I'm in the house. Good topic. Hey, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. I hope all is well. When I will be ordering a pallet of 250-watt panels for then $50 each. I've been storing these panels in my garage until the off-grid bill. Yeah, I gotcha. I don't know, if I had more space, I'd kind of be okay with the 250-watt panels, but I don't even know then. I feel like I would still want more power in less space. I'm just weird that way though. Here at Shady Acres, we're paying $129 a month flat rate plan. Interesting. Interesting. Do you find that, have you actually sat down and kind of dealt with that flat rate plan and if it's appealing to you? Because the people that I was with, they had a flat rate dip, but I sat with it for a minute. I got it like winter before last because I thought we may have been running a lot of heaters. And I just wanted to have it on deck. It wasn't expensive at all, something like $60 or something like that. But you had to use more than 700, 800 kilowatt hours just to start benefiting from it. So I turned it off after that summer, after that winter, because we don't use that much power. We typically use about 500, 600 kilowatt hours a month. Um, I don't know how much your power is down there where you're at, Auntie Blessings, but $130 seems like a lot. Uh, I don't know what y'all have going on power wise, but that seems like a lot. Are you looking at the shape? Some energies are different shape than. Okay, true. Someone told me about this company that I needed to look into if I'm interested. They have an adapter or something that allows me to connect my AC 300, B300 to a grid tie system as a backup battery. Woo! That's right over my head. I would think transfer switch in my mind, but I don't know. That's the thing that comes to mind for me. I got my Briggs 550 for $100. They had 12 hours on it, 10 years old. Oof. New carburetor, new gas. It runs awesome. Yeah. No, 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 not me. I need one of them nice compact little eye joints. It would be cool to have a generator, to be honest, but I like the compactness of it. I don't necessarily like anything else about it, like putting oil in it and unscrewing it and looking at it, and that's for the birds. I feel like if you have enough battery storage to run your critical food for 12 hours, you should be good to go. Me and Jay, man, we there. What's up, family, man? What's happening? Good to see you. That's a very nice picture of you, sir. Sitting with good posture and all that. My town trying to be the first town in the area to completely go solar. So why all free? But I'm keeping an eye on that city council. Yeah, keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on. You're probably in a situation where you start like you're feeling they have that money and you know what I mean. It's the government just messing stuff up. Flat rate, is that a thing where they average your annual usage and split it into 12 even payments? I don't think so. It could be, but in my situation, my flat rate was just because I'm with a renewable company as my provider, and then I have my normal company as my distributor. I just think it's a situation where they probably get so many people who don't know enough. They pay for that flat rate. They don't use that power, and they profit. So it's nothing to just give it to people because most people won't exceed that. I mean, business, all that stuff is research. You could look at your bill, and they tell us like the average. Um, that's one thing I don't like about this Alcatel. It is Acevolt. It beeps. It doesn't beep long, but it beeps when the voltage goes low enough and the solar doesn't do anything. So it's going to beep for a little bit. I could just unplug it because I don't want to deal with it on the stream, but it usually beeps a good 6 times. I've gotten accustomed to it. Um, but yeah, it's annoying. That DuranEner, man, that dip is quiet. That new power station that I need to do the video on, finish it up. We got some sun. I think we got some sun tomorrow. I need to do some solar stuff for it. It is quiet. I almost put it in my zone 1 because of how quiet it is. But it's just like that AC200P in that it needs panels in series to work. So that's a little bit annoying because my front zone, I only have one panel. It's the Bouger V200. So it's not enough to power it. I would have to take my Renogy 320 and put it up in the front yard, which I think is going to be an annoyance. Hopefully y'all saw the video where I was kind of talking with my wife about it, and she seemed okay with it. But in the summer, that panel has to lay flatter than what it did in the video. The video was in about late November, maybe early December or something like that. So I don't know if that's a good fit for that front yard, but I thought about it. I thought about it a lot. Let's see. Santan has 450 watt panels. Yeah, but that pallet is going to be, you know what I mean? I ordered 8.5 panels, 2 versus 80,000 for solar tiles. No thanks. So you committed, Jay? You don't think in that situation you probably could go ahead and cancel that, or you seriously gonna wait until? I mean, you think about the power wall. I don't even think they're LifePo yet. So you committed like you read about to still fulfilling that whole joint. Let's see. That's crazy. Sound like it relies on an insurance scam. Enough people paying more than they should covers people using. Yeah, I feel like that's exactly what it is. It has to be. I still don't really make sense. We started at about $75, and now we only have one electric power company. Do you have to have the flat rate, Auntie Blessings? We are enjoying this live. Thank you, sir. And tell Del we said hello. Thank y'all for hanging out. Hello to the family. To the family. I appreciate you guys. Did you see the video of the induction video? Because you got a shout out in there, MJ. Just use the panels as a window awning. I'm still waiting. Yes, still coming. That's interesting that you still committed like you read about. That's a line from I think Live Free or Die Hard. I saw a interview where they're bringing back Justified. I make that link because Hollywood Jack is in Live Free or Die Hard. That's what I call him from A Man Apart. Timothy Olyphant, whatever his name is. Justified, if you haven't seen it, is a good show. It's a great show. I need to talk to you about how to keep my wife from stressing with all the panels and cables. Hit me up, man. We can talk about it. My contact information is in all of these videos, at least my newer ones. I have literally one cable coming in through the window, and the fan on my EcoFlow drives my wife nuts. That thing is loud, man. I'd have to put, man, it's too loud for me. Jay, I think you run I don't a mini split. I don't know what do you call it? What's the little device called? Something fancy. Heat pump. I still don't quite understand that, but I'll look into it one day. He has an air conditioner heater situation that he runs off of his Delta something or another. Uh, yeah, I'll have to watch it. Thank you for the shout out. I knew you didn't watch it. I was like, she would have been like, oh man, I got a shout out. You may not have said it to me, but yeah, you definitely got a shout out in that one. It's a portable heat pump, like legit, or are you just calling it a heat pump? Is it a heat pump because it has a dual function? Heat pump is such a weird word for those devices. I don't understand why they're called heat pumps. But who am I? I'm just a kid who went to public school in New Orleans. What do I know? The Delta Max 2000. Hey, Ali. Joe Place Joe. Good to see you. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I haven't done a live stream since December 7th. My man, Less Stuff, More Freedom, Living the Band Life, was asking me when I'm going to do it. I was like, man, I be trying, man. I be trying to do it, but it just don't be happening for a brother. This little girl still asleep. No, maybe she's not asleep. Maybe she's with her mother. She might be. It does both. It uses the AC in reverse. After all of this stuff with heat pumps, I've watched a video or two. I think I watched David Paz's video. I watched Will Prouse's video. He did like 2 videos on it. I don't think I've ever come away with knowing how much power these things use or how much power they save. I've never gotten that information. And your situation, Jay, is peculiar because it's a portable one. Like Will did that video about the DC powered one, and I thought that was cool. That was interesting, man. I was looking at that Nissan Leaf that old girl Darbin bought. I call her old girl, but she whole grown woman. That she bought, and I was like, man, that was peculiar. The range is kind of tight for me, and I don't necessarily like the look. I was talking to my wife about the Chevy Bolt, not seriously, because I don't talk seriously about a lot of this stuff. The Chevy Bolt, the latest one, the SUV style one, it's interesting. Me and Setai were talking about it just in terms of like cost and how you could literally just buy that as a battery, as a means. I don't think it has the two-way stuff, but just as a means of storing power. Does it have two-way? That kind of would defeat the whole purpose if it didn't have some aspect of that. Hey, that's people are watching TV, man. We don't need the noise, Saya. I'm gonna get up from this chair and you're not gonna like it. Thank you. I'm forgetting new ideas and real time chats. Yeah, it's a good look. Live streams are cool, man. It helps foster community. The SEER rating of like 10, I think means it moves 10 watts worth of power using only 1 watt. That new trophy battery at 304 amps, 1500 watts is, whoa, I can't even say that out loud. 1500-watt electric heater makes 5,000 BTUs, while the 1150-watt heat pump makes, oh, okay. Gotta go see it. I can. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks, I appreciate it. I can and I will. Heat pumps equals heat transfer, heat being moved to cold area? Question mark. That's interesting. This whole thing right here is very interesting. So a heat pump is the same as a mini split, right? I've actually thought about getting a mini split. Again, not seriously, because we don't have central air in here. We have window units. And this corner, what am I looking at here? Okay, there's a corner right here. My panels are like right out here on my balcony. And up here, I feel like would be a good place to have like that fan come in and be cooling this area. And then I could throw the little device right out there in the yard near my where I put my Bouge RV panel from the front. If y'all saw me kind of hang over the end of the rail, showing that panel that was down at the bottom, that's where I could see putting the outside part. But it's interesting. I'm intrigued, but again, I don't feel like those videos would be very helpful. All they do is just show you how to install them. Yeah. Anyway. So wait. You said mini split is amazing. Is a mini split not a heat pump? Y'all help me out here. Help me out here. Give me some insight. I'm sure subtitles school me at some point. Yikes. Hey. Hey, mama. How long she been up with you? Oh, okay. I was looking at the bed. I didn't see no movement. Then I looked closer. I was like, oh, she ain't in there. It can be a heat pump. I guess that I get what you're saying. I follow. So you can have a mini split AC, or I guess you can have a mini split heat pump, which is kind of. I probably just want the AC because my wife, she wants the whole house warm. So she wouldn't be into just having like an area warm. And then she went into another area of the house. It was freezing. She led a thug life. What can I say? All AC and heat pumps. But when we say heat pump, we mean a reversible unit that heats and cools. You said all. I feel like I'm missing a word there. All are AC and heat pumps? I don't know. In terms of the device, if anybody here or anybody is watching, let's recap on the rules. It has to be 48 states. The good brother Bangers and Bullets gave like $5 towards the shipping. Shipping will probably be about $20 for the GoLabs R300 or the Rockpals. I feel like after the live stream, just say which one you want. Just say I want that Rockpals or I want that GoLabs, and then I'll pick a comment. I will respond under your comment and heart your comment to let you know that you have won. The heart sends out a notification. That's why I do that. And then I'll tell you to email me. The email is solarquestions@askive.com. And then I'll commence to text you in some capacity or email you to get your address. And it may take 2 years for me to send it to you, but you'll get it eventually. I'm gonna do better. I need to do Grand Acres label. I'm gonna probably do it between today or tomorrow. And you have to pay for shipping. Shipping is about $20. So that's it. Anybody got any questions? Okay. Oh, okay. Another 1,600 square foot has a 3-ton BTU that does both heat. Okay. Your 1,600 square foot. Well, I never understood the square footage stuff. I'm really. I didn't pay close attention in school, and because they wasn't teaching nothing. Another reason I will not invest in large solar generators is that the technology changes so fast. While I prefer the batteries more of the money savings, cheaper wattage, and cheaper battery. Yeah, you can't. I mean, with those batteries having the breakers built in, and some of these all-in-ones, even just they have the MC4 connectors on it. You just can't beat that. It's super simple to build that stuff. I would never hang it on a wall or anything like that. I would probably go the cart route. I mean, maybe I would. I'm not a hang on the wall kind of guy. I never was. I don't even like putting pictures on the wall, holes in the wall and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just not into it. What? What you talking about, Auntie Blessings? I always wondered what a heat pump was. A lot of houses in Carolina seem to advertise them when they're listing their homes. Yeah, I don't think we still got a good grip on what a heat pump is. Oh man, I appreciate you hanging out, sir. I'd rather have a furnace. That heat pump thing scares me away from those houses. Interesting. I don't know why. It seems fine. Repeat, please, about the giveaway. I'm not repeating that. Auntie Blessings, just go back and listen to it. It is an hour 36. So about an hour and 30 minutes in. I'll put a timestamp for the this stuff overall, like an overarching timestamp. So you can go back and listen to it after it's over. Um, 10 foot by 10 foot room is 100 square foot. I mean, I get it in theory. I don't know how to scale it. It doesn't scale in my brain. I basically what I would have to do is like look at our house and like, oh, our house is this. Oh, okay, that's it just doesn't scale. I've never like yards. I never think about it, and just yeah, I've never taken the time. I need like examples of stuff to compare it to make it make sense to me. I don't have that natural like, oh, okay, boom, that makes sense. Will Pross did a video on the new Ford electric F-150 as a battery to run everything off of. Yeah, I saw that video. He was not happy. He was not happy. The thing has some issues, but I don't think he really wanted it. I mean, I don't think he didn't really want it, but he bought one out of curiosity and he sent it back. That idea when they first came out, like 50 grand, 55 or whatever the base model was going to be, it was incredibly intriguing. I can't wrap my mind around spending that much money on a vehicle, but again, this idea of batteries being more expensive, it just is what it is, but you benefit from it. You just do. I know, right? Oh man, I'm glad I caught you live. It's been a while. Everyone enjoy your weekend and the Super Bowl tomorrow. Oh, that's right. The Americans do have uh they do have a competition going on tomorrow. I'm not into football. I watch it casually. I watched it casually for a while until the whole Colin Kaepernick stuff happened, and then I was like, you know what? I could sit out football for a little bit because that was wild. But anyway, y'all know I don't mind politics, but I ain't trying to swerve that way. I don't mind it at all. Um, but I stopped watching. Again, losing me as a viewer was no big deal because I was a casual fan at best. Um, but I call football American rugby. He tried. I have Don D. I have a 2250 wind gas generator just to refill my EcoFlow. If it's cloudy out, haven't had to use it for that yet. Yeah, it don't make no sense to you. Don't make no sense. You might as well just plug it into the wall. Okay, was yakking. Pumps aren't ambient warmth rather than. Oh, interesting. I don't. That's all. Hey, Corey K. I'm sure when I get off of here, I'm going to think about many things that I wanted to chat about, but it's been a good 90 minutes. So I'm going to bid y'all farewell. It's been real. Thank y'all for hanging out with your boy. I appreciate it greatly. Oh, I made 7,000 subs. How about that? That was cool. Still on the road to 10. I have to, one thing that I do want to share um, that I internalize myself, my channel grows steadily. One thing that happens with YouTube is the growth is exponential. It's not linear. So it won't take me forever, but it takes a while to build up and then it should go up a little higher. That's at least my understanding. But then I also have come to terms with the fact that you know, my content is not it's really for people who enjoy the idea of watching videos about solar. Like they love it. I was talking with Wayne about this one channel whom I will not mention. I was just like, man, he just talks about the device and I don't really see the value in it. But I was just like, but I do that. I just talk about the devices in my device related videos. And I was trying to figure it out because sometimes I question myself. It's like, well, are you really giving value to people if you're not like doing a JayCeeDIY hobo textile video? And I'm like, man, I struggle with that sometimes. But I think there's no with these some of these channels that talk about this stuff and just the features and stuff like that. I feel like there's no one, just to be honest, there's no personality. Two, there's no like opinion. There's no like, okay, they're just like, oh yeah, this is here, the power button. Anytime somebody tells me this is how you turn it on, I almost always turn the video off. I'm just like, dude, who are you talking to? The power, you press and hold the power button here to turn it on, turn it off. It's just like it's a power button. People know what power buttons do. Shut your face. Um, but I was just like, I think I arrived at a space, and what it was is a lot of these channels that talk about this stuff is one, they don't have any personality to my liking. Two, they don't really give opinions and thoughts about the features and the what's the word I use? The implications of those features, like the usability of the device. And three, this is the major one. I don't think they love this stuff. Like I genuinely love solar. I love talking about it. You know what I mean? I love solar so much. I watch me talk about it. You know what I mean? That's how interesting it is to me. And I think that that's missing from a lot of these bigger channels, you know, these 100,000 plus subscriber channels that are like off grid or whatever. And their channel is not about solar. They don't really enjoy talking about it. They just talk about it because they got sent a device for free. And I just be sitting there like, this is useless. What am I watching this for? It makes no sense. So I 2x it. I speed it all the way up to 2x just with the hopes that I would get something useful to me as a person who looks at these power stations from a more useful, enjoyable standpoint. So anyway, let me see what y'all got to say real quick. Thanks, MJ. I appreciate that, Buck. What does that say? Buck or buckle? Oh man, thanks, Delgado. I appreciate that. Don't forget to hit the like button off top. Um, good night, all. I appreciate you, Jay. Appreciate you hanging out, man. Thanks, Sharon. I appreciate that. Sharfar made. Go Cubs. Um, I don't get the reference. I can't send money. Sorry, YouTube is being dumb. Oh man, I appreciate you trying. I appreciate that wholeheartedly. I'm with you, man. Thanks for trying. I love watching you learn something about what you're doing while making a video. I feel it. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yes, your love of solar is real and it shows. Don't change your style in these streets. Hey, yeah, I mean, I'm out there. I appreciate that, man. It's like, man, dang. People don't appreciate it. They don't really love it. All right, y'all be beautiful. Until next time.